Welcome to the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. I am your host, Christy Castillo, and I'm here to give you real talk and cut the BS so you can actually enjoy building a body you love. I'm a personal trainer obsessed with giving you simple action steps to take you from feeling stuck to feeling sexy. Let's go. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. Today we are going to be talking about the idea of replacing goals with standards. This is something that I heard a while ago, honestly, and it was very intriguing to me. And I think the reason it was intriguing to me is because I am not the best person when it comes to goals in certain areas of my life. Let me explain. I'm really good at setting a goal. I have a lot of practice and a lot of systems in place to set a goal and reverse engineer that goal. So set the long-term goal and then, reverse it backwards and be like, okay, what exactly do I need to get to that goal? What do I need to do? Write it all down, map it out. I'm really good at the process of setting a goal. I think it's maybe like my type A. I like to break it all down and see it all in front of me and be like, yes, that's my plan. Let's go. And then I don't move. It's like I set the goal, then I'm like, that was exhausting. I feel like I did a lot of work to set that goal. Yeah, I absolutely still want to reach that goal, but it's like, I feel like I'm done at that point or something. I don't know. There are certain areas in my life where I'm just like, I become paralyzed, I think, by the action of the goal itself. I don't exactly know why. Maybe we can dive into that a little bit. But the reality of the situation is that I know that about myself. And because I've set a lot of goals for myself, I have reverse engineered them. I have the plan. It looks really pretty on paper, or I take really good notes, or whatever it is, like I lay it all out and then I don't do what I'm supposed to do, right? The execution is where the magic happens. Obviously, writing all this stuff down on a piece of paper or making it look pretty or in your notebook or on your Excel sheet, like that's all great, but what are you going to do? Like if you don't do anything about it, that's a complete waste of time. And I would admittedly get frustrated sometimes with the amount of time that I would spend setting a goal and reverse engineering it and then not take action. So I heard someone say this one time. They literally just said, like, forget goals, just set standards. And I was like, that's an interesting mindset shift. Like this was a very successful entrepreneur. And they were just saying like, don't set goals then, like set standards for yourself. And whatever it was in that moment that I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh. So I kept listening, of course, and really adopted that way of thinking, that way of doing for myself in certain areas of my life. So I thought this was interesting. I have done this for myself in different areas. I have done this for my clients, and it's been really, really helpful. Now, I want to say that, of course, I'm not completely dissing on goals or telling you to never set another goal. I'm not saying that goals suck. I still do set goals for myself. I still do reverse engineer them, and some of them I even take action on. I do hit my goals. I do reach my goals. I do help my women, like I said, my clients. I help them set goals and reach them. I think goals are great. I'm not by any means saying that we are not goal setters anymore. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just kind of saying that depending on the season of life that I'm in, or honestly, the season of the year that I'm in, or just the area of life that I set the goal in, I have found that it's been hard to set that goal, or reach that goal. So this is, for example, this pertains a little bit more to me in business than it does for fitness. So if I were to set a goal in my fitness, let's just say that my goal is to work out 4 to 5 times this week. I will absolutely do that because it's fun for me. My fitness is something that I can like enjoy. And I just gravitate to that. If I set a goal like that, I'm going to do it. If I set a goal to hit my macros this week, I'm going to do it. I'm for whatever reason, I enjoy that. I think it's a good challenge. I know it's healthy for me, whatever, right? If I set a goal to build some more muscle, I'm going to do that. I'm going to write myself a program. I'm going to achieve that goal. However, in something like my business, for example, where it's not as fun, maybe it's because the results aren't instant. I don't know exactly, like I said, but if I'm to set a goal in my business, a certain amount of programs I want to sell, or a certain amount of ladies that I want to help, or a certain amount of money I want to make, or whatever it is, I will reverse engineer the shit out of that goal. And then I'll just be like, I'll get started tomorrow. So that's an example. Of course, there are different areas in my life, right? I can set goals of just like not being on my phone certain times of the day or things like that, where that may or may not happen. It just depends on maybe the severity of the situation, how much I enjoy it, instant gratification. I don't know exactly, but I know that there are different areas of my life, different seasons of my life, different times where I'm really motivated and I'm ready to go and I'll follow the plan and get it done. And there are other times or areas that I will set a goal and that's it. I will set the goal and like walk away from it. So I say all this to have you think about yourself in this way. Are there some areas of your life where you can set a goal and achieve it? Are there some areas of your life where you set a goal and you become overwhelmed and paralyzed and you don't do anything about it? Because I'm no expert in this, but I think it has something to do with like your personality type, maybe. For me, I think it does. There are certain, just like my personality type, things that I like and enjoy. I think that can have something to do with the fact of whether or not you execute on that goal or even make progress toward that goal. Maybe it's too complicated, the goal that you set. Maybe there's some self-sabotage. I would raise both of my hands on that. I definitely self-sabotage, which means that like I'm like scared of the outcome, or I overthink, or I think, oh, what if that does actually happen? Like that is an amazing goal. And if that actually happens, what will I do? Or talk myself out of it, whatever, self-sabotage. There's a lot that goes into that, of course. It could be overwhelm. You set the goal and then you're completely overwhelmed. You're like, but when do I have the time, right? Like now I'm overwhelmed by all these steps to reach this goal. Yikes. back up. And it could be things like habits. We have habits habits are things that we do without thinking, right? We just do them automatically, and it's really hard to change your habits. So if our day isn't set up to be able to create new habits or to be able to have time to explore new things, we're going to keep doing the same things over and over and over. Things that are built in or learned over time that we've adapted to, we're just going to keep doing the same things, which is going to lead us to the same result. But that's like, we're almost like on default for our habits. So I think some of those things go into whether or not, you're able to set a goal and achieve it. Those are not excuses. Those are just reasons I thought of that I think probably hold me back at different times on being able to set a goal. So I kind of dug into that for us a little bit because I was thinking, what is it that actually makes me not take action towards my goals? But for whatever reason, I found for myself that setting a standard is sometimes better than setting a goal. It's like a simple mindset shift. I've talked about mindset shifts on this podcast so many times. And if you're my client, you already know a simple mindset shift, a simple wording change can be so beneficial, so much different. And some of my clients are this way. I have had clients where it's like, this is our goal, and then they don't move on it and they get really frustrated. Like, I set this goal every week, Christy, to work out 3-4 times a week. Like, that's my only stinking goal for the week and I don't do it. Like, what is wrong with me? And so when a client comes to me with that kind of attitude, which is all of the time, and I'm sure that's you too, like you set these goals, right, to track your food or to eat better or to XYZ, get healthy, and then you don't do anything about it. And you're like, what is wrong with me? Why can I not do what I freaking want to do? Some of my clients are that way. Some are just goal setters and they freaking just get it. But when I had to break that down, I have tried this with my clients and thought, let's try to set a standard. And so what that feels like is so much different than what a goal feels like. So when goals can just seem overwhelming, right? Even when it's broken down, it's a lot of steps. it can sometimes seem unreachable, even though the steps are right in front of me. Sometimes I'll set a goal and it's like I reverse engineer it. I can see all the steps that I need to do to get there. And individually, they're very simple, but they're very overwhelming. It's like, it seems so unreachable. And sometimes there's just more rules. Like think of the SMART goal. I can't think of all the acronyms. I should have wrote them down. There's specific, measurable, attainable, reachable. I forgot what T is. Sorry, shit. But a SMART goal, right? People say to set a SMART goal and make sure it's all those things. And that's correct. I'm not arguing that at all. That definitely works. And that's what a goal should be. But sometimes that just seems so, it's like there's so many rules to making a goal. Like I just want to get moving and not think that hard. And where, as with the standards, if I set a standard, I feel like this sense of empowerment comes with setting a standard. It feels like an instant win. And the way that I kind of frame it is this feels like something that the best version of me would do, like not settling for less. So instead of saying my goal this week is to work out 4 to 5 times, hope I reach it kind of a thing, or, and reverse engineering that back and being like, okay, I'm going to work out at, this time on this day and this time on this day, which is absolutely necessary. But if I say I'm working out this week 4 to 5 times, period, because that's what I do, because that's the kind of person I am, because the kind of person that I am, the kind of person that I want to be, she works out 4 to 5 times this week. I'm going to track my macros this week and hit them because that's the kind of person that I am. It's almost like I'm talking to myself in a way like that's what I want to be, or that's the kind of person I am. Not like I have this goal to, help this many women or work out this many times this week, where that kind of seems, of course I'm being dramatic, but seriously, sometimes for me it seems like, okay, that's my goal, but I said it and that's like it, right? Whereas a standard feels like I can actually take that goal and see the action needed and like feel the action needed, feel how I approach, maybe working out differently. I can almost already feel like how I'm going to feel after those workouts. So it's like, yeah, I'm working out 4 to 5 times this week, period, because that's what Christy Castillo does. That's who she is. I'm going to turn these, actions into a standard. Can you feel like I'm already like so pumped up about it? Like I feel so much different when I say that to myself. And so I will say that to my ladies, like, okay, let's think of the kind of person, like, why did you join one-on-one coaching with me, right? You wanted to learn X, Y, and Z, but you wanted to feel confident in your clothes. You wanted to have someone hold you accountable. You wanted to, at the end of this experience with me, with working with me, you wanted to feel different. And so we start to work on that. And it's like, how are you going to feel different at the end of this? Besides learning all the things, besides taking action and, I'm giving you workouts, of course, we're tracking your macros, we're learning your stable foods. Like we are doing a lot together, but it's almost like this mentality and like this physical change that you have to make. That's like, I am showing up for myself this week. Examples like, this version of me, this is literally what I will say to my clients and I'll have them say it back to me. This version of me will work out 4 to 5 times a week, period. For myself, it's like I will show up live in my Facebook store or my Instagram stories this week because that's what I do as an online business owner. Something at home would be like, I will not respond to work messages. If you know, you know. I will not respond to work messages in the evening or the weekend because I deserve time off. I deserve that boundary. That feels so much different. And there are times where I say those examples because there are times where I have ladies that are also entrepreneurs come to me and they don't know when to turn off their work, and their work gets in the way of their fitness and their, self time. So I say those things to my ladies as well. Like, you will work out 4 times this week, period, because that's what you do. You will turn off your computer at 7:30 p.m., period, because that's the kind of person you are. You will, carve out time for your spouse, your children, your significant other, your friends, yourself. Like, you will do that because that's the kind of person you are. Not like, okay, your goal this week is to X, Y, and Z. Like, no, this week, the standard for yourself is to become a different person mentally. And this takes reps. It's like, we have to do those reps. Every rep you get stronger. Every time you do this, you get stronger. It becomes more of a habit. But looking at things as setting a standard feels like something that's great. It feels empowering. It feels different than setting a goal. It feels like something the best version of myself would do. And I can do that now. It's like an instant feeling of even just saying it differently makes you feel so much different. So whereas a goal is something that I need to work toward, and yes, that's a great thing, sometimes we just need that simple mindset shift to get after it. So I know that this is just kind of me preaching to you a little bit, but this is similar to what I do with my ladies when we're on the phone on a one-on-one coaching call and they're really struggling. Sometimes it's just a mindset shift. Sometimes it's just talking to yourself differently. Sometimes it's doing less and scaling back, definitely. But sometimes it's interesting to me when I jump on a coaching call with someone, when they show up for the call, they're feeling very low and very defeated by their week and their inaction. And as we talk through these things and we do set some goals first, probably, I ask them what they want to do, what their goal is for the week. We take those goals and then we turn it around and say, okay, picture how you want to feel at the end of every day. Picture how you want to feel when we get on this call next week. Picture how you want to be differently. And then we turn that into a standard. And then I will say, okay, that version of yourself, she shows up for herself and tracks her macros. She shows up and works out 4 times this week. She turns off work, right? She drinks her water. It's not like these are our goals for the week. Talk to you later. It's like, no, we are changing the mindset. We're changing the wording and we're just doing the damn thing. And I absolutely have given you examples of how I do the same thing. So I'm not just preaching to you and telling you like, this is something you should try. This is something that works. I definitely think you should try it. But I wanted to discuss that on this podcast because I think it's a huge mindset shift. A lot of times we get so focused on the calories and the macros and the workouts and the water and the protein, and absolutely those things freaking matter. But at the end of the day, if your mindset doesn't change, you are not going to be taking action on those things anyways. And sometimes setting a goal isn't big enough. It's not personalized enough to where as if you're setting a standard, it feels empowering and it feels personal and it feels good almost instantly. So let's look at it this way. I have a lot of clients who they're like, I will reach out and say, hey, have you done your workout today? And they're like, no, my goal is to do that after work today. Okay, maybe that's you. That's a very common thing. Like, my goal is to get my workout in after work today. Instead of saying what I just said, say, I am going to work out after work today and I'm going to feel like a badass after I do it, period. It's just a simple, it's like you said it like it was already done instead of like, well, I hope I get to that later. You said it with power, like you said it with intention. And I think there's a really big difference there in actually being able to get things done. So thank you for listening. I hope that you enjoyed. I know this is kind of short and sweet and a different type of episode, but it's very, very, very important. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts as usual. Anywhere you can find me, you can shoot me an email. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram. I am always here to talk to you. I love talking to you about these things. Thank you to those of you who always do reach out and start these conversations. I enjoy it so much. And I will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to today's show. Go ahead and leave a rating and a review. And of course, follow the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And I would love it so much if you came to connect with me over on Instagram at Christy Castillo Fit. I will see you next time.